Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Thursday evening. I hope you well. Hope you enjoyed the day and you're looking forward to basically one more day. And then if you are working tomorrow, I know you're definitely not really working tomorrow. So then it's the weekend and Christmas is here. Let's talk a little bit around some transfers. We've got some updates around Santiago Giménez, the final striker. We do have some potentially less positive news around Eric Dier staying, as well as I do want to briefly talk about the news of the Super League that came out today. So plenty to talk about, plenty to get into. Just to say, if you're new, subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. There you go. I know you did. You're too kind to me. Let's talk Santiago Giménez. And it came from Ekram Kanor. And he said, Arsenal, Manchester United and Tottenham have added Feyenoord's 22-year-old striker Santiago Giménez to their shortlist. Or transfer shortlist, you know what I mean. The Premier League clubs will check the Mexican situation in the January transfer window. So look, we've talked about Santiago Giménez, or Santi Giménez, or Santi or Santiago, whatever you want to call him. We've talked about him a lot. We've talked about the fact that we need a striker a lot. But we've also talked about the fact that if you want to fund this move, especially in the January transfer window when supposedly we don't have a lot of money to spend, you have to sell to get him. And to sell him, you're probably selling Richarlison. That's the way it's going to be. Because you're not selling Kulusevski, he's in great form. You're not selling Sonny, you're not selling Johnson, he's only just arrived. Brian Hill's not going to fetch you that much money. Solomon's not going to fetch you that much money. Also, he's not played. Spurs are going to want to actually get a bit of game time out of Solomon. So Richarlison would have to be the one to be sold. And I don't see him being sold in January. Maybe the summer, but I don't see January him being sold. So I think Spurs are going to be one of those teams where someone might make a move for him, and it'll be one of those that they say, "Can you keep us in the loop of what's happening, in case we want to get involved?" I think that's the only way this deal will have our name attached to it. The more I think about it, the more the news that comes out about Santiago Giménez, the more I think it's not going to happen. We might get a cheap striker, might get a cheap winger, but we're not getting a winger or striker that's going to cost 30, 40, 50 million. It's not going to happen. David Ornstein said there's not a ton of money to spend on this window. So I think that's the way it'll be. By the way, I know Ornstein did actually say, Spurs are looking for a centre-back, but the Todibo move is doubtful. More people have said it's less doubtful than him. Look, he's a big fish in this whole transfer rumour pond. He's a big fish. So's Romano. Romano is a bit of a bigger fish. And Romano said, we've opened talks. Other sources have all said, we've opened talks. It can be difficult. And they've all said it will be a difficult deal, but Todibo wants the move and Spurs want the move. It'll be down to Spurs and needs to work out a negotiation. Plus Spurs don't want this dragging on. They want to get this done quite quickly. He's the first one that said it's doubtful, but I think that's just because it's going to be a difficult deal. It doesn't mean Spurs don't go in there with a decent opening offer that needs to go, okay, you're serious? You're not going to try and waste our time? Okay. But look, we want a little bit more than that, and then you start doing the negotiation. But, I see the centre-back being probably the big recruitment drive, if you know what I mean. I see Todibo being the big signing. If you were to get a Gallagher, I think that would have to be Højbjerg would have to be sold. You'd get the Gallagher, and then you'd get maybe a loan with an option to buy to another midfielder and an attacker. That's the way I would look at it. Because I think if you get rid of Højbjerg, you have to replace him. We're already in a dire situation. If we keep him, you still have to bring in a midfielder. So if you lose one, you've got to replace that one on top. So if you lose Højbjerg, you've got to replace him. Plus, we still need another one. You need two in midfield. Let's talk around this Eric Dier news. So it came from Charlie Eccleshare in The Athletic, and he said Eric Dier remains far more likely to leave in the summer when his contract expires than in January. Now, I saw a lot of people talking about the fact they're unhappy with this. Why would you not want to play elsewhere? Why are you just sitting here collecting checks? I've explained it all along. When a player then becomes free, instead of the club having to pay admin fees or signing on fees or transfer fees, the player himself can say, look, I want that money, just send it to me. So you're talking a player losing out on maybe a few million just for signing for a club on top of what they'd already getting. So I think that's why he's doing it. Now, look, he is told that he doesn't suit the system. He's told that he's not going to be playing as much. I'm umming and ahhing. Look, speaking for me, let's speak for me. Actually, I'm not going to speak for anyone else. I would want to play elsewhere. I'd say, look, I want to play. If I'm not going to play, what's the point? This might be my last opportunity to get into the England squad ahead of a major competition in the summer. If I'm not playing, I'm not getting in, and therefore, you start to see those issues. It's a difficult one. It depends. I think, look, do you know what, the way I look at it? He's not going to want a permanent move, right? He's not going to want a permanent move. But he won't reject a loan move. So what he wants is he wants utter freedom in the summer to choose who he wants to choose and make the most money from that move. But he'll go on loan for 6 months. And if I was doing it, I'd say, look, Daniel Levy wants a fee out of him. To be honest, I'd go, why don't we just save? He's probably on about 80 grand a week, 320 grand a month. That blew your mind, by the way. Quick maths, I know. Over 6 months, you're looking at, I don't know, 1.8 mil. Let's call it that. You could save that by just sending him away and just saying, look, you don't have to pay us a fee. Just take his wages. There you go, boom. Because a lot of the teams might send you 500 grand and go, we'll take this amount of his wages. Well, just say, look, don't send us the fee. Take the wages. You sort him out. He's yours now. Because after this 6 months, he ain't ours. So that's the way I would do it, but I don't see Levy doing it. And he's just going to be sitting on the bench taking up a space where I probably would rather, a Dorrington get a bit more time on the bench or a Phillips getting a bit more time on the bench. Someone that's going to be here long term. So a bit of a shame. Look, let's talk Super League really quickly. Look, right, it's just come out about 20 minutes ago that Spurs have said that they're not joining the Super League. 1, good. 2, it took too long for you to say that. You were evidently waiting to see if any Premier League clubs were going to come out and say anything to join it. 3, UEFA have a monopoly over a market, which I don't agree with. They don't pay the clubs enough money for what that competition earns. I would have no issue if the big clubs of Europe would say, look, we're going to create a European competition that's not going to affect the leagues. It's going to be like the Champions League round robins, the way we've had it before. And, the Champions League are trying to change it to make even more money for themselves. We're going to keep it the way it is. Same sort of style. We're going to have this company who's paying us. I think there was a lot of American companies. We're going to have this company paying us. We're going to give out even more revenue. That sounds beautiful. And I think all teams would get on board with that, because then you'd say, yeah, but we're going to give you even more money for keeping it the way it is. We're not going to be governed by that company. We're going to be governed by an independent company that we can hire, and we're going to get more money out to the clubs who then can feed it to the rest of the leagues. That's the way I would look at it personally. But the Super League is a flawed outfit that they've tried to put out there. I don't like the Super League and how the rich get richer. I don't at all. I think it's pathetic. I think it doesn't help anyone. I think a lot of people do look at the situation of a Super League and go, they went about it all the wrong way. But I'm glad that now UEFA now go, oh crap, we're not untouchable. Because that's a good thing for football, that UEFA and FIFA don't think they're untouchable. They're both corrupt. They're both terrible organisations. Let's be honest. You know it, I know it. I would love UEFA and FIFA to not have as much power anymore. And they don't, because they realise they can't block things anymore. So I don't think it's going away. And I would love maybe some of the teams coming together about it and say, look, instead of going to the Champions League, we're going to create our own competition that's going to help every club. Your Copenhagen's, your Feyenoords, your CFR Clujes. There you go, that's 3 teams you didn't think I was going to say. It should benefit everyone. It shouldn't just benefit Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, Liverpool, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico, Juventus. It should help everyone. That's my views. The Super League is a terrible thing, but UEFA are also a terrible thing. And I'm glad that they've had their impenetrable armour dented, because it shows actually you're not untouchable. And if you don't fix up, you will have an opportunity, you will have a situation in your hands where the big clubs will finally then go, actually, we've had enough of your corruption, we've had enough of your terrible leadership. We're going to create our own European competition that does not affect our leagues. And we're going to fund our leagues better through this. So we're not going to get richer. We're going to take the same sort of money that we do anyway from the Champions League, but we're going to fund the pyramid better. Grassroots football would get better. League 2, Championship, League 1, all those leagues get better. So you don't see as many games postponed because they've got better facilities, better treatments, better physio teams, better equipment, all these things that I would love because it affects you and me playing six-a-side. That's what I would love, but it's not going to happen. So unfortunately, we'll have to still stick with UEFA, who are terrible, or we go to the Super League. Both of them are a double-edged sword. No one really wins. But hey, anyway, guys, then the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comment section your thoughts and feelings about, obviously, Santiago Giménez, Eric Dier, Super League, all that jazz. I want to know your thoughts and feelings. Also, to give you a heads up, tomorrow, I haven't forgotten about doing it this week. I will be doing my loan roundup that I normally do on a Tuesday. I'm looking to do it tomorrow. So apologies, I'll be a bit late on it. But yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, as well as more chance news come tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.